Just look at those beautiful jewels, crowns, necklaces, earrings, diamonds, sapphires, and pearls. On Sunday, October 19th, 2025, a cache of valuable historical jeweled artifacts was stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris. A team of mastermind thieves stole the priceless jewelry from the Louvre, which is the world's most visited museum, in a well-planned 7-minute raid, according to France's Minister of the Interior. But this is not the first time the Louvre has been robbed. Gustave Courbet's painting The Wave was stolen in 1971 and has never been recovered. Other Louvre robberies include the theft of a 19th century sword in 1976, a Renoir painting in 1990, and 2 pieces of armor in 1983 that were recovered in 2021. But perhaps the most infamous Louvre Museum heist was the 1911 theft of the iconic Mona Lisa. On August 22nd, 1911, a student painter entered the Louvre intending to do a copy of the Mona Lisa, but it was missing from its place on the wall. What happened? Hi, I'm Tamworth Grice. Welcome to my channel, the Tamworth Grice Files. Cases that are spooky, macabre, fascinating, supernatural, and just plain weird. And in each instance, I have a personal connection to the story, so be sure to stick around to the end to hear about that. Pietro Vincenzo Antonio Perugia was born in a small Italian village near the Swiss border. In his 20s, he moved to Paris, where he got a job as a workman at the Louvre Museum, reframing paintings and constructing cases for them. Meanwhile, the museum's director had bragged that no one could steal the Mona Lisa, saying, "That would be like thinking someone could steal the towers of the Notre Dame Cathedral." When the French Minister of Arts took a vacation, he jokingly left the following orders: "Don't call me unless the Louvre burns down or the Mona Lisa is stolen." And yet, on Monday, August 21, 1911, that's exactly what happened. On that day, Perugia pulled off what was perhaps the greatest heist of the 20th century. The museum was closed that day and was empty except for museum personnel. He was no longer employed at the museum, but on that day at 7 a.m. he walked through the same door as other workers as they entered for their workdays. He still had his white smock, one of the customary uniforms of the workers, and he wore this as he strode into the museum. Standing before the painting, he removed it from the wall, wrapped it in his smock, and left the gallery. Somewhat amusingly, he became trapped in a service door designed for entrance but not exit. Fortunately for Perugia, a plumber saw him and unlocked the door. Perugia then headed home and hid the painting under a table in his apartment. As previously noted, the theft was not discovered until the following day. Immediately, 60 French police officers and detectives searched the museum for clues, but found nothing definitive. The main detective boasted, "The theft took place on closing day. We know who came in and out. This investigation will take only 2 to 3 days." Before I go any farther, I just want to say I appreciate and love you for watching my video. So please hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. Also, I hope you'll leave a comment at the end and tell your friends about my new channel. Your support will mean the world to me. In the days following the heist, the admired Polish writer Guillaume Apollinaire and the famous Spanish painter Pablo Picasso strangely became suspects, perhaps because both were foreigners and perhaps because they were nonconformist artists and writers known as the wild men of Paris. Both were arrested but eventually released. Thinking the thief would leave the country, police thoroughly searched passengers of an ocean liner about to embark. In New York City, the American counterparts of the French police searched arriving passengers of ships that came from France. Meanwhile, a Louvre curator gave the police a list of possible suspects. That list included Perugia. The French National Police interviewed all workers, including bricklayers, decorators, and staff. A detective went to Perugia's apartment and questioned him not once, but twice, standing within inches of where the painting was hidden under a table. In fact, the detective wrote up his report on that very table, but Perugia was not considered a prime suspect. As he perpetrated the heist, Perugia left a thumbprint on the glass securing the painting. He'd previously been arrested for trying to rob a prostitute and for carrying a gun, so his fingerprints were on file with the police. But because he had helped make the protective glass for the painting and put it in place, the print was not regarded as suspicious. Perugia would later claim his motive was patriotic. He was Italian, the Mona Lisa's artist, Leonardo da Vinci, was Italian, and he said he wanted to return the painting to its rightful homeland. He would later claim it had been stolen from Italy by Napoleon. He said, "I am Italian and I do not want the picture given back to France and given back to the Louvre." However, in reality, Leonardo da Vinci had given the painting to the French King Francis I as a gift when he became the court painter 250 years before the reign of Napoleon. After 2 years, Perugia left France for Italy and took the painting with him to Florence. There he contacted a famous art gallery owner with the intention of selling the painting or handing it over in exchange for a reward. The gallery owner immediately contacted the director of the prominent art museum, the Uffizi, to authenticate the painting. After this authentication, the two men got in touch with the Italian police. They arrested Perugia, who was lodged in a cheap hotel with the painting hidden under his bed. The recovery of the stolen painting was huge news around the world. In Italy, it was exhibited before its return to France. According to the New York Times, people in Florence were in a riot over the Mona Lisa, and a crowd of 30,000 museum goers swept the police aside in a mad rush to see the Italian painting. Even though some doubted Perugia's nationalistic motives or supposed motives because he asked for a reward when he visited the gallery owner in Florence, he was hailed as a great patriot in Italy. He received a lenient sentence and served only 7 months in jail. Perugia received no profit at all from his theft. Some have speculated he was part of a conspiracy and stole the painting for a wealthy benefactor. His notebook before the theft contained the names of billionaires like John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie. Most people from his own time and from today doubt this theory, believe he acted alone, and that he lacked the intelligence to be part of a conspiracy. They say he was not a criminal mastermind. He was just a museum worker who took advantage of a situation. For example, at one point, he traveled to London to sell the painting, and an art dealer actually laughed at him. The court psychiatrist who examined him called him an imbecile, and historian of art in the 20th century, Donald Sassoon, said he was a classic loser. After the trial, Perugia served in the Italian army during World War I and was captured and held as a prisoner by Austria-Hungary. He later resumed his work as a painting framer under a new name, and sadly, he died of a heart attack at the age of 44. Now for my connection with the case. When I lived in Paris as a student, I visited the Louvre several times. Today, the crowds are huge, and it's difficult to get close to it. But in those days, if you timed your visit right, you could get a good view. The thing that struck me the most about the painting was how small it is. I had imagined a huge artwork, maybe 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. In reality, it's only 21 inches by 30 inches. Although small, it was too big for Perugia to smuggle out under his clothes, and it couldn't be folded because it's painted on wood. Therefore, he wrapped his smock around it during the heist. At first, I found the painting unimpressive. People say the eyes follow you around the room, but the eyes of most portraits will seem to do that, so That's nothing remarkable. I just didn't get the hype. But I found myself going back once, then again, and again, not because I loved the painting, but because I couldn't figure out why everyone else did. On one occasion, I took my sketchbook with me. I tried to sketch the painting in my notebook, and I did a terrible job. I couldn't get the expression right no matter how many times I tried. I finally gave up. Also, I have some French ancestry in my family tree, and my great-grandmother, who was the family genealogist and historian, said our family had a distant French cousin who was employed at the Louvre in the early 1900s, as she put it, quote, when that man stole the Mona Lisa, unquote. You have to realize that she loved to tell me I was related to famous and infamous people. She even claimed our distant cousin knew Perugia and that he was there working on the day in the Louvre that the Mona Lisa was stolen. Now, I don't know if any of that is true, but it's a story that captivated me as a child, and I've always wondered, did my distant cousin know in advance about Perugia's planned heist? Did he help? Perhaps not, or my great-grandmother would have told me, but maybe she didn't know. When I finally saw the painting there on the wall at the Louvre where it belonged, I felt like I was closing some strange door in my family history. So, what do you think? Did Perugia steal the painting for patriotic reasons, as he claimed? Was he out to make a quick buck? Was he part of a criminal conspiracy headed by a millionaire who craved having the world's most famous painting in his private collection? Please leave your thoughts as a comment below. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please hit the like, subscribe buttons, and sign up for notifications, and spread the word about this channel. Also, let me know in the comments if there are other cases you want me to cover. I love and appreciate you for watching, and I hope you'll return to view the next video in the Tamworth Grice Files.